Good morning. I might not be able to see it, but I am wearing my Big Book Summer t-shirt because I'm doing this on Friday. It's first day of Big Book Summer. I gotta be honest, I'm probably gonna change out of this shirt right after I film this because white shirts and I don't get along, especially when food and beverage is involved. And I'd like to keep this nice. So you will see it in videos, but I probably will change out of it right after the video, just so it's a little, you don't have splotches all over by the end of the summer. I wish I were filming outside, but summer is not actually out my window right now. So, although I don't know if you can see it. I can't see it. My roses, I have a rose bush right here that's blooming, so that's nice. Anyway, oh, also, I have, this is a major oversight on my part. Like this morning, Sue and I had our Sue Jackson, that's her channel, had our videos go out, and Sue messaged me like, your video's great, but you never mentioned my channel. So I'm sorry. I thought everyone knew who Sue was. Sue Jackson, who started Big Book Summer. That's who that is. So I changed it in the title, but yes, just so you all know, go check out Sue's channel. I will link my announcement video, which will have come out yesterday as you see this, and Sue's down below. So yeah, also coming up on Tuesday, I have my Big Book Summer pile of possibilities, which is very loose, but whatever. And then on Thursday, I'll have my June TBR, which is only a third of my June TBR, or part of it, my third video, I should say, for my June TBR. Because between Big Book Summer and Read Historical Fiction 2025, I have a lot of books going. So you have to watch like all 3 videos to see my whole TBR, which I think I'll do a pretty good job of sticking to my Read Historical Fiction TBR. Big Book Summer, I've got a summer to do it, so that's fine. And then I got just a couple other books that have to go in, which my TBR will play a part in just a second in this video. I don't have a lot to wrap up this week because I've only finished 2 books, and one is a BookTube prize book. So I can't talk about it, but I am now finished with BookTube prize reading. I put in my rankings last night, so I am done with the BookTube prize for this round. I have decided not to do the semifinals, but then I'll be back in the finals. And I think that's a good schedule for me to do the quarterfinals and the finals. So I'll probably just keep doing that from here on out. But yeah, so BookTube prize I'm done with until August. There you go. But because besides that, the other book I finished was not even really a book. It was a short story. It was one of those Kindle single short stories. So I really have nothing to update. So instead, I'm going to do a little summary of what I am currently reading, which is, but anyway, let me start with what I did finish last week. I finished that I can talk about. That is The Bookstore Family by Alice Hoffman. This is part of her Once Upon a Bookstore little series. It's a delightful little series. This one was very sad, but it went into the love of children's literature. It took me 20 minutes to read. So, and I'm counting it as a book because I counted it as a book on my haul. So I can count it as a book I read. So there you go. Yes, but if you've read that, I would recommend doing the whole series. You can read the whole series in less than 2 hours. And I think they're all free on KU, but they're like $1 or $2 on Kindle if you just buy them, which is what I do because I don't have KU. But I enjoyed it. So let me talk about what I'm currently reading. And I realized that I have some books that would fit into both Read Historical Fiction and Big Book Summer, but I've already started them, so I can't count them. I didn't plan that out well. But let me start. So I'm going to go with kind of the order that I read my books in. There's an order here. So I have a huge pile here on top of a pile, so that's good. This one is an unusual book. This is a devotional book that I will be doing a Books of the Spirit video on. If you're new to my channel, whenever I read like a religious themed book, I usually talk about those in separate videos because I know that not everybody's interested in them. And some people, it's hard to watch those for things that happen, from their own experience. It just makes it hard to watch them. So I always put those in separate videos. But I will mention this here. This is devotional it's called God Didn't Make Us to Hate Us by Reverend Lizzie McManus-Dail, who's kind of known as the bedazzled priest. She's an Episcopal priest. And I'm enjoying it, but I'm not really the audience for this book, but I'll talk more about that later. And then the next thing I usually read is the Arabian Nights. I'm part of that read-along. I think I'm actually ahead. I do my reading in half-hour chunks so that I can give my eyes a rest. And so basically what I do is I read this, which is like 5 minutes, and then I spend the rest of the half hour reading the Arabian Nights, and then that's good. Okay, and then after that, I read this book, which is Night at the Fiestas by Kristin Valdez Quade. This is a short story collection, and this is part of Maria Andrea at Books and Bocadillos. Her book club. This is their book for this month. I only have 3 stories left in it, so I will have finished it by next week. I'm really enjoying this. I think this is, I don't know why I've never heard of this author. She did receive a 5 Under 35 award by the National Book Foundation. And she teaches at Princeton. She's from New Mexico, and the bulk of these stories are set in New Mexico, and I'm counting it as being in New Mexico because my little thing where I try to read all the states. So this is a New Mexico book. But I'm really enjoying this book. This is a really strong short story collection. So thank you, Maria Andrea, for putting this on my radar. And then after that, I read my Historathon Q2 book that I currently have going, which is Queens of the Age of Chivalry, England's Medieval Queens by Alison Weir. So I just finished, we pretty much wrapped up Isabella of France. Wow. Like I knew about Isabella of France, but man, I forgot like what a story that one is. She was married to Edward II, who had some male favorites. And the first one was annoying, but the second one was evil. And then she got in cahoots with this guy who was sort of an enemy of them, and they overthrew the king. And the rumor is, of course, that Edward II died by having a hot poker crammed up his butt. That actually probably, as Alison Weir kind of talks about, that's probably not how he died. However, she says, like a lot of people say this, it could just be a rumor. What I kind of think happened was they smothered him to death, and then the poker came out. So I don't think the poker killed him, and I don't know why I thought so much about this. There you go. That is my theory. And I'm done talking about red hot pokers now. But anyway, we're on to Philippa of Hainault, who is the wife of Edward III. They were married very young, and it was quite a love match. And they had I think they had 12 kids, but still pretty young. But she was not a political wife like Isabella of France was. But still, it's still fun to read. I do really like it. And we will see Alison Weir again in a second. And then the next book I read, which I'll just say I read it, is this one, but not this copy, which is Giants in the Earth by O.E. Rolvaag, or Ole Edvard Rolvaag. I am buddy reading this with Hannah at Savage Reads. We're going to be done with it this week because we've kind of divided it into quarters, and I'm into the last quarter now. And this is a reread for me. This is the story of Per Hansa and his family, who are Norwegian immigrants, and they are settling in the Dakotas with a couple other families. Per Hansa is quite a character. This is a book that's doing double duty for May for me, because actually triple duty, because this is the book that I'm counting for the Ben Reads Good Challenge as being a reread a favorite. It counts for Mental Health May, because Per Hansa's wife Barrett has some mental health issues. And then Misery May, because it is very miserable at times. So this is like an all for it book for May, but I'm really enjoying my reread of it. It's been probably 20 years since I've read it. And so I remembered like the high points, but I'm still surprised by things that happen in it. I have described this as grown up but very dark Little House on the Prairie, and I think that's a pretty accurate representation. Laura Ingalls Wilder was her Little House books. Those are happening at the same time as this. They're contemporary stories set at the same time, and there are things that happen in both, like the plague of locusts that we got by the shores of on the banks of Plum Creek, which I have been to. I have been to the banks of Plum Creek. I am going to just stick right here a picture of my daughter, who's actually standing in Plum Creek back when she was 5 years old. I love that picture. Anyway, so it's interesting to have read all of the Little House books and have been a fan. Like, I loved them as a kid, and then I revisited them as an adult, where I realized they were kind of problematic, reading them to my kids, and then reading this. And what is really interesting about this is Laura Ingalls Wilder books are not known for being especially tolerant of the indigenous peoples. This one is. There's this whole scene where he goes out and helps. I mean, I was kind of shocked reading it. But anyway, really enjoying this book. I'm actually doing a double buddy read. I said I'm reading it with Hannah at Savage Reads, but I'm also reading it on Bookstore with my commenter friend Christina. Christina's already finished, so I've got to finish this week and our thoughts. This is actually the first in a trilogy, and I've not read the second two books, but I have ordered them from Thrift Books. They are, of course, not in print, so I had to go to Thrift Books. So at some point, I will be continuing on with this. But yeah, that's Giants in the Earth. This is a book that I think really needs to be better known as a work of American literature. It was actually Edvart Rolvaag. I was going to look this up, and I forgot to look it up before this video. I don't remember if he was born in Norway or not, but he is a Norwegian. He was a Norwegian immigrant. This book was actually originally written in Norwegian, and then he and someone else translated it to English. So I think it's just a really interesting work of American literature, and I really recommend it, especially to people who have read the Little House books. So there's that. And then after that, we go back to Alison Weir, and this is another buddy read I have going on with commenter Abby, and I'm reading Catherine of Aragon, the True Queen. So in this book, I'm to the point, she's just married, she's pregnant. She's married Henry and she's pregnant. And I realized reading this, as I have said ad nauseum, you're sick of hearing it, but I have a degree in medieval history, English history. So I know the Tudors, okay? I know the Tudors. I did a lot of classes on the Tudors. I know them. I realized reading this that I knew very little about Catherine of Aragon between the time that Arthur, who was the older brother that she married, although the marriage, I mean, I think historians have accepted the fact that the marriage was never consummated, and it's not consummated in this book, not a spoiler because that's history. Between the point that he died and the point that she married King Henry, this was never discussed in any of my classes. And Alison Weir really goes into that. And let me tell you, it has been a long time since I have been as stressed out for a character as I was for that. Oh my goodness. Wow. Anyway, I'm really enjoying this. I'm going to hold my thoughts on it really until I finish it and talk about it with Abby, because it is a buddy read. And if you've seen, or you will see, because I haven't come out yet, my big book summer, I did do my read historical fiction TBR, and I do have the next one on there. But as you will see in my big book summer, we're going to go on from there. So I have this one. And then I have a book that I had actually hoped to have been finished by the time before I started Catherine of Aragon, and because of life happening, I just didn't get to it. And so I'm still kind of working on it, and I really want to get it done. Not that it's bad, I just want to have it done. And that's The Wanderer's Curse by Jennifer Hope Choi. So this is a memoir. She's a Korean American woman. Her mother was an immigrant from Korea. And they both kind of move around a lot. That's sort of how this memoir is sold on the back of the book. I'm going to say that I kind of feel like that's a misleading summary. That's not really what this book is. That's not really the focus of the book. I kind of feel like she wrote this memoir, and it's a good memoir. I'm not criticizing the memoir at all, but she wrote this memoir, and her publishers or editors or whoever said, this is great, but we have to have a hook. So let's do this thing. Let's try to write up a little summary that talks about this one aspect, even though that's not really the focus of this book. Does that make sense? That's kind of what I feel. But I had actually really hoped to finish this by before I started Catherine of Aragon, and it didn't happen. So this weekend, this is going to be I'm going to try and finish it this weekend. And then, so I finished my BookTube prize book last night. And in my TBR video, which you've not yet seen, I'm sorry, BookTube time is weird, I talk about Detransition Baby, which is the book club book for my marginalized authors book group for June, because it's Pride Month. I've been really excited to read this book. And I had it on hold. I have the print on hold at the library, but then I realized I have a lot of print books. Like most of my June TBR is print, and I need to spread that out a bit. So I went to see if I could get the ebook from the library, but there's a huge wait list for the ebook on the library, but I put my name on the list and it's not going to happen. I took my name off. But then I noticed there's no hold, there's no list. I mean, I was able to immediately borrow the audiobook of Detransition Baby. So in that video, it said, well, I'm going to be reading this, but addendum to that video that you haven't seen yet, I'm actually going to be starting the audio of Detransition Baby tonight or tomorrow. So that's on there too. And then finally, I have this book, which is technically paused because a lot of books going. I need to get that under control. I think I'm going to pick it up again once I finish this book. Anyway, I am going to unpause it because this is my March of the Mammoths book, which has been paused, which is, and also my March on the Moors book. The Brontës, Wild Genius on the Moors, The Story of a Literary Family by Juliet Barker. I'm really enjoying it. I just, too darn many books going. And so this just had to kind of go to the side until I kind of catch up on things. So that's where I am with my reading now. I very much want to finish. So I will finish Giants of the Earth this weekend because I don't have that much more to go in it. I'm hoping to finish The Wanderer's Curse this weekend. Maybe I'll do a vlog. Maybe I'll do. No, well, I don't know. Maybe I'll do a vlog. If a vlog shows up, then I did one. Okay. Because we're not doing anything else Memorial Day weekend. This is Memorial Day weekend in the US, if you didn't know. And we never do anything because it's just crazy. Traffic is bad. We just stay home and try to get the kids to do their laundry. I mean, that's what we do. Anyway, I might do a vlog. We'll see. We'll see if that happens. Anyway, I do really want to kind of get things focused because I want to start on my read historical fiction books and a big book. But I need to finish some stuff first. And I can't count the big book and the historical fiction in the big book because I started them before the event started. Yeah. Anyhow, that was just bad timing. I think if I had been able to finish The Wanderer's Curse, I might be farther along in Catherine of Aragon and it wouldn't be such a big deal, but you know, whatever. Anyhow, I do think once I finish Night at the Fiestas, which I'm going to finish soon, I'm not going to replace that with a short story collection for a while. It probably at least not until July. It might not be until this fall that I get back into short stories because of Big Book Summer. So yeah, so that's my reading now. I am actually close. Even if I don't finish books this weekend, I have a number of books I'm going to finish before my next update. So my next update will be a big one. I have a lot of videos coming out because I've done a lot. I did some time this week catching up on filming videos, so they're ready to go. But anyway, happy Read Historical Fiction 20. Well, no, it's not that yet. Hold off on that. That's not till June, which is kind of good because I will definitely be done. I'm pretty sure I will be done with Catherine of Aragon by then, so I can actually start one of my historical fiction books next. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, happy Big Book Summer because we are in that now. Oh, and the sun is starting to come out. That's nice. Anyhow, you may or may not see a vlog from me. We'll see. I am going to go change my shirt so that it's fresh for the next time I do a video like this, probably next Friday when I do my update. And yes, like, subscribe, join my Discord. Down below, I have the information for both Read Historical Fiction 2025, which is starting June 1st, and Big Book Summer, which is alive. It's on. It's going. Go see those and join us. Make it a great summer. Okay, I'm done. Talk to y'all later. Bye-bye.